Right, so welcome. Hola, ¿cómo estás? So this is my first ever podcast. God, the fucking click is on. Oh, thank fuck for that. This is mainly because I'm really quite bored. I've not been this bored for some time. It's mainly due to the fact that I have had an operation on my right shoulder. So I don't know what this is going to be like. It might be like watching a descent into madness. It might not even be that interesting, but we shall see. And I'm going to talk a little bit about myself and my interests and go from there, because I don't really have any content as such to talk about. So I'm Martin. I'm not an alcoholic, although I may become an alcoholic if the codeine and beer mid-afternoon Lego sessions continue. You'll have to look at my Instagram for that one. But we shall see. But basically my life revolves around my family and bikes. I like riding bikes. I also like music. I feel like this is turning into a dating profile. I'm happily married, so ladies and gentlemen, please no. But yeah, so bikes, music, climbing, not so much anymore now. And coffee. I do like coffee. So, right. It's probably worth trying to work out how we got to this point. So, a week ago, I had an operation on my shoulder. I'm quite an active person, as the list of things that I enjoy doing describes. So, I moped around the house for an extended period of time. Kicked stuff, grumpy mood sort of behaviour, and then finally just thought, do you know what, fuck this shit. I need to do something different. So I went on Amazon, and other retailers are available, and probably better retailers are available. But I bought myself a Lego Technics car. I was quite proud of that. I have obviously only one hand, and that is my non-dominant hand. So I set about building my Lego Jeep Rubicon. Yeah, it's cool. Completed it, mate. That took me like 6 hours over 2 days. I've run out of things to do. So, podcast. So yeah, so bikes. I like mountain biking. I spend a lot of time mountain biking. It's hard when you can't go mountain biking. Mountain biking is like my cognitive reset. So I have quite a stressful job, which is I work in an operating theatre. I'm an ODP. I'm an operating department practitioner. What's that, you say? Don't worry, the whole country goes, what's one of them? Is it a job? So yes, I am an operating department practitioner. The best way to describe it, it's a bit like a nurse, but different. I always think about it because I had a friend called Tom when I was growing up, or I have a friend called Tom. And when I was about 20, he went off to London and worked for a company called Bloomberg. He did something in the televisual industry for them. I have no idea what it is. He explained it to me multiple times. To this day, I still have no idea what that job was. It must have been frustrating for him. I've got to be honest, I now have a little insight into what that's like, because whenever you say to someone I'm an ODP, everyone looks at you and they go, what's that? I don't know what that is. So it's a bit like a nurse, but different. I'm on a registered body. I'm on the appropriate register, not one of those registers. Anyway, so I work in operating theatres. I ended up on the wrong side of the knife about a week ago. Operation went absolutely fine and dandy. Can't complain about that. No one shaved my testicles, which is good. And it was amazing, actually. I had very good experience, really good anaesthetic. Block was fantastic, surgery sorted. So, yeah, but unfortunately, that's my dominant side. And I'm in a sling for at least 5 weeks, I reckon. So that means no driving, no biking, no playing drums. And it actually affects the other thing that I really like, coffee, because I can't make the coffee in the way that I normally do. So anyway, so yeah, so I ride mountain bikes, and that's what I like doing. So I take my stressful job and I take the, day-to-day life, and I go and ride a bike, and I ride in the trees. If I ride by myself, it's just, I don't do anything too gnarly. It's all just kind of mellow, just riding, enjoying myself.
Chop! Oh, testicles! Ah! Oh, my balls!
If I ride with mates, it's just fun. You get on with people, you chat, and it's just really nice.
Very good.
And it's the best way I've found to reset mentally, other than climbing for me. It just works for me. So I got into this, and it's been quite a big thing. Obviously, I can't do that now, so I'm pretty bored, and I'm trying to find another way of relieving said boredom, which has brought me here to you. Is that weird? I don't know. So anyway, so I ride an e-bike. Cheat is what I always hear. So I'm not going to get into the semantics of e-biking. If you're from a mountain bike background, you're probably here going, oh, fucking e-bikers. Yeah, that's what it is. I ride an e-bike. I do ride other bikes, but not so much because I really like my e-bike. So I've got a Specialized Kenevo, which I've totally modded to make it my own bike. So I got rid of the triple cramps and a pair of Zebs on the front. Really love them. Coil, which came with it, but higher rated. Just tricked it out as understatedly, but it's fucking mega. I love it. It's one of my favourite bikes I've ever had. So I ride that mainly. It helps with my other problems, like my dodgy knee. It means I can keep up with all my super fit friends. You know who you are. And it means I can get out and I can ride. It also allows me to ride with my eldest son, who's a shredder and a pinner, and rides like he doesn't have to go to work on Monday. So it's really cool. I enjoy that. I've just ordered a new bike, a normal acoustic bike. I would have put those speech marks at either side of the sentence if I had two hands, but I have one. I've ordered a Privateer 161. That's going to be a machine. I'm very excited about that. Ordered lots of bits to go with it. I've changed the bars. Going to have carbon bars and stuff, even though it's an alley frame. I'm going to try and make it a bit lighter. But yeah, totally excited about that. It's coming in a really nice colour. It's like this sort of matte blue. It looks rad. If you haven't looked at Privateer bikes, go and check them out. They're part of the Rider firm. So they have an e-bike company that make a gravel e-bike, which is called Cairn Hunt Wheels. Privateer, obviously, for the bikes. And there's probably other elements of the company that I haven't quite discovered yet. But they seem like they've got a really nice ethos. They're very good at what they do. So super excited. So that's going to drop when I come out of the sling, hopefully. So I'll have a nice bike to ride once I've been freed, as it were. So I'm looking forward to that. That's like a little positive out the back of this. Obviously pain-free and mobile again, which is another positive. But I'm quite superficial, maybe. So I like bikes. So yeah. But yeah, so another thing I'm into is music. So I play a lot of music, or I used to play a lot of music until COVID. When Rona rocked up, that was pretty much the end of gigs for about 2 years. It feels like. Yeah, I think the last gig I actually played was the end of January 2020, which is a long time ago. I have got a festival coming up where I'm playing with this wonderful band called Wasabi. I'll put a link down below to Wasabi's YouTube channel. They're absolutely rad. I say that I'm in them. It's like it's my favourite band to play with. I adore them. So I will put a link down below to that. But we're playing at, I think it's Groove Fest at the end of August, but I can't play drums, which is weird. So I think I'm going to be essentially Bez, and because I do all the talking in Wasabi. So yeah, so I'm going to do that, which will be interesting. But yeah, so my main instruments are the drums. I play a few different other instruments, most of which, if you look behind me, are dotted about. I'm actually in my drum room at the moment, which is I built when we had an extension done, and it's the first time I've ever been able to play drums at home without the neighbour complaining it's setting off her myalgia. So yeah, so it's quite nice. Yeah, and it'd be nice to get back to some proper gigging, playing with people. Just that I've done a few rehearsals with a few different people recently. It's been lovely to play music with other people. It's weird, you forget how much that playing music. So I'm just getting texts with other people. It's that sort of cognitive reset. Like I said, it's like you reach out for that connection with people. It's fucking brilliant. And like you sit there and you play, like playing with these guys. It's just so much fun, and you just love it. So, but yeah, no, I don't know. That's good. So yeah, music. That's what I'm into. I like my funk, my soul, my jazz. But my musical church is pretty broad. I listen to pretty much most things. I'm not keen on accordions. I'm going to be honest. I have trouble with the accordion and the cajon. So the cajon is controversial, but the cajon is this generation's equivalent to the djembe, which was probably the most abused instrument since the tambourine. I am quite opinionated on this, so I'll probably leave it there because I don't want anything too controversial in my first podcast, I guess. So yeah, so music. That's basically a summary of my music. Climbing. Don't do that so much anymore. Got knackered joints and stuff, hence the e-bike and the arm in a sling and things. But, my youngest is super keen on his climbing. I can go and climb on a rope. That's not the end of the day. The main thing for climbing is I grew up in Cornwall, so I grew up in St Ives in Cornwall, and it was such a wonderful place to grow up, and I didn't appreciate it at the time, which I think is quite common. You kind of get that sort of feeling that you don't get it until you leave it. So, never got into surfing. Drove around for ages with a board in the car. Didn't really do. Just couldn't get it. I spent more time underwater than I did on top of it. And then my dad was into climbing. He tried to get me into climbing when I was younger. Couldn't do it. I was scared shitless of the climbing, the height and the exposure. And then I just couldn't get myself into it. And then I met this guy called Ben Densham, bit of a legend. He took me climbing. Solid dude. We went climbing. I freaked out halfway up the face of Basigarum, which is this beautiful granite cliff in Cornwall. It's so stunning. And he had to lower me off. And the takeaway feeling from it was I actually enjoyed the experience, but I was scared and I didn't like it. And that sent me on this journey of trying to get over my fear. And at my point, I don't know, I'll throw out some grades here. At my point, my hardest lead to date was E2 5C. I think it might have been E1 5C. And I ended up soloing like stuff that was like E1 5C, very easy E1. I mean, we're talking like total soft touch, total accessible E1 5C. very low to the ground crux. But I got over the head side of it and got really into the physical nature of it. It was amazing. I loved it. And the people I met, so the common interest between the sports I do is it takes you to beautiful places and it gets you to meet really cool people. So all my best friends that I have come from climbing, and I've come from mountain biking and from music as well. But the bond that you get from people that you have the odd near-death experience with is usually quite good. So one of my best mates, Barney, on my 21st birthday, decided we should climb Suicide Wall at Besigren. You could argue that we were a bit underskilled for this, but we cracked on. We had a go. We got, there's a point called the pedestals just over halfway up, just before you go off and do this crux sort of pitch. We got all the way to that, and we managed to get our ropes so tangled we had to untie ourselves from the ropes. So basically standing on the edge of a halfway up a cliff with nothing attached to us or the rock, and drop the rope, swing it around till it unwound, and then pull it back up, tie back in, and carry on. I think we nearly. There's a guy called Justin somebody. I can't remember his name. He's a very good climber. He was climbing below us, and we kind of nearly knocked him off. I think he could have been really pissed off with us, but I think he quite liked the spirit of adventure in us. So yeah, I met some great people through climbing. My best friends are through climbing and mountain biking, and and I mean the places you go to, like. I finally got to Yosemite a couple of years ago. I didn't do much to do a route there, but I've been to Val di Mello in Italy. Oh, spectacular, a week there. Again, it's just like, even in the UK, you go to like Cornwall. Go on the north coast of Cornwall and go and check out Besigren and places like that. Oh, it's just so beautiful. It is well worth a walk, and go and check it out. I'd strongly suggest it. Roaches, the grit is amazing. North Wales, insane, scarily steep and sharp and jagged, and that sort of feel to it, like in Llanberis and things like that. Whereas the lakes are all round and lovely, and Scotland again is just. You can't look, if you get to like Torridon area, you can't look anywhere in any direction in the Torridon area without having an epic view. And if it's shit weather, it's almost more epic. Unless it's so shit you can't see past that. But no, it's amazing, and it's kind of like, it's one of those things. So, but yeah, climbing is I don't do it so much anymore, like I said, but it's very, very strong strong part of my life. So, yeah, which is cool. And then probably the last bit would be coffee. I do like coffee. I didn't drink coffee until about 2014. I'd never drank a hot drink until about 2014. I was working in Reading. I'd had a little dip out I worked for a medical devices company, and I was supporting surgeons with their operations. And they like to do their operation, they're really complex one, first thing in the morning. And I'm shit in the mornings. Like really, really sub-functional. And they just opened, at Membry Services, they just opened a Starbucks. And I went through it one morning and I said, can I have a coffee, please? Didn't even know what to order. And I got a milky coffee, which was a latte. And by the time I got to Reading, I was like Martin 2.0. So that was like, oh my God. And then by about a month later, I was addicted, which became apparent in Italy when I didn't have a coffee for like 2 days. And my wife was like, why are you so grumpy? And I'm like, I don't know. I hate my life. It's awful. And then she was like, you've not drunk coffee. I don't need coffee. And she gave me a coffee, and I was like, this is great. I love Rome. So that's kind of, it's one of those things. But yeah, so now like my whole life is like different. I look like a chemist at home sometimes. I've got an AeroPress. I've got one of those V60 type things. I've got special capsules, which thank you Thank you to the lady from Boost Coffee, Rachel, who put me in contact with someone who used them. So you actually take your coffee you want, I think it's called Blue Cup. You take any coffee you want, put it into these capsules, and then you seal it. It's much easier with two hands. I can't really do it with one. And then you seal it into this capsule with a bit of foil, which you like crunch this machine down. It's great. And then you put it in, you get a really good pour every time. So it's like, yeah, coffee. And then I get frothy milk with it because I like that. But I use oat milk because I'm a hipster, despite the lack of beard. Doesn't fit under an FFP3 mask, so no beards. Although 6 weeks, huh? Yeah, we'll see. So coffee. So basically, that's me in a nutshell. What's that? 21 minutes, I reckon. So me in a nutshell in 21 minutes. So I'm into bikes, music, coffee, and climbing. So I'm probably going to do another couple of these. If you want to see anything or ask me anything, drop it in the comments below. I've never said that. Click like and subscribe. So that's different. So drop that into the comments below. Ask me some questions. Please keep it as close to this side of polite and nice. I think you get a gist for my sort of mentality. And we'll see how it goes. I mean, if nothing, I will do another 5 of these, because by the end of that, I'll be out of a sling and I'll be happy again. And I'll be able to go and do other stuff. But I don't know. See how it goes. See what you think. I've got nothing to say other than that, really. Thank you for watching, listening, and coming with me on my journey. Hit me up if you want to ask me any questions. I hope you're all right. Thanks very much.